is 10:03, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. Shelley,
Yes.
could you please do the public comments?
Do you want me to do the roll call first?
Please.
Jerry Abrahams,
Here.
Cindy Butts,
Here.
Alexandra Dom will not be attending. Wendy Clark.
Wendy Clark will not be attending.
Okay. Heidi DeWinger,
Here.
Kylie Goslin,
Here.
Tim Hodges,
Here.
Kathy McKinnon,
Here.
Sayla Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
George Perez,
Here.
Franklin Perry,
Present.
Sarah Sanders,
Here.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Here.
Greg Ugalde.
Here.
Okay.
Thank you. And then we're going to do the public comments.
This is the only opportunity on the agenda for the public to make comments. If you'd like to provide a comment, please unmute yourself and state your name. To ensure that everyone has the opportunity, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to make a comment? Any public comments? Public comment period is ended, and I will turn the meeting back over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is the report from our CEO, Nadine.
Good morning, members of the board, Madam Chair. It's great to be here today in person with a few of us around the table. Almost feels like we're back to where we used to be. We've been very busy working on rolling out My Home CT, which is the federal emergency mortgage loan program that CHFA is administering on behalf of the state. We expect that the program will be launched before the end of the first quarter. We're working on a number of fronts, including the application portal, connecting with servicers, municipalities. The assistance will come in the form of mortgage and non-mortgage payment assistance. And so there's need to connect with a number of potential creditors out there, and working with housing counselors and others through requests for qualifications and proposals to try to get those services in line before we launch. It's a huge endeavor, one that CHFA hasn't had to do in a while, and so it has required a significant amount of support from staff to all be working together to get this done. We're working on marketing and outreach efforts, as well as enlisting outside staffing to provide some of the sort of program support we're going to need. The other news or things we're working on relate to single family. On the agenda today, you will see a request to have our procedures, our single family regs, so to speak, up for public comment. There was a very lively discussion earlier this morning at Finance Committee about our production in single family and concerns about rising interest rates. We've been working really hard to get the procedures, our lender guidelines, our engagement with lenders, and everything sort of in line with where the strategic plan envisions, where we want to bring home ownership in general at CHFA and increase production and reinstate production. And part of that is looking at our procedures to make sure that they fit with where we want to take the program. And one of the things we're going to bring to you the next month or so is a new program that we're going to be administering on behalf of DOH, using state bond fund dollars to provide up to 25% down payment assistance funds for first-time home buyers, with increased amounts available for areas of higher opportunity in the state. So we're very excited about this program. In order to make this program work with our regular down payment assistance funds, we are asking for your consideration this morning with respect to some changes to our procedures that we would like to make. And last but not least, work is underway to bring together a board retreat. We would like to do it in May. We've settled on a date. We hope we'll work with you. I'm happy to send you an email after this to memorialize it. We're looking at May 18th. And we have decided on a really nice spot. It's in Meriden, and it's one of our developments that we financed in the low-income housing tax credit program. It has a beautiful community room space that is available to us for our use and for anybody else that would like to use it for their purposes. And so we're going to have our retreat there. And I hope you're excited about that. And we're going to be coming to you with some ideas for the agenda. We loved your feedback, and more to come on that, but I just wanted to update on that particular event. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the commissioner and ask her to take it from here.
Thank you, Nandini. Any questions for Nandini? Or comments? All right. Thank you, Nandini. The next item is Finance Committee has a resolution, and Hazin is going to present it.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. For your consideration is a resolution to authorize CHFA to procure a warehouse loan facility to help manage the pooling of single-family loans into mortgage-backed securities. CHFA currently uses taxable bonds and the ITA, if needed, to buy loans from our participating lenders and reimburse the taxable proceeds with tax-exempt proceeds when the MBS are delivered. The taxable facility is scheduled to mature on May 15. Based on the indication CHFA received, it is more advantageous to pursue a direct line with a lender than issuing a taxable bond, as it is less expensive. The request, if approved, will allow CHFA to procure one or more facilities with an aggregate amount of not to exceed 75 million and a term not exceeding 3 years. The resolution was presented to Finance Committee, and the committee asked questions around the rate comparison when or if a bond was issued, the impact of rising rates, the comparison with the lines that was previously approved by the board, the process to solicit interest from lenders, and also about the GO rating of CHFA. The resolution was approved by committee, but with 2 abstentions. I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have at this time.
Thank you, Hazin. May I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by Hazin?
Move. It's Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Correct, seconded. Thank you. Questions or comments? Okay. Shelley, could you do the roll call,
Sure.
please?
Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts,
Yes.
Heidi DeWinger,
Aye.
Kylie Goslin, Kylie. She must have stepped away. Tim Hodges,
Aye.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Salem Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
George Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Shelley. Motion carries. Mortgage Committee has been pretty busy. We have several items on the agenda, and Masuda is going to present the first item, which is a resolution to finance a project in Torrington. So, Masuda?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. The board is being asked to approve the payoff of 2 existing mortgages totaling 6.9 million and transfer of ownership of the development to Woodland Hills GP LLC. Additionally, the board is being asked to approve a first mortgage construction to permanent financing utilizing tax exempt bond proceeds for up to 23.5 million at a rate of up to 4.59% during the construction period, and then converting to a 40-year fully amortizing mortgage at a rate not to exceed 4.53%. To fund the acquisition and renovation of Woodland Hill Apartments in Torrington. This transaction will preserve an existing Section 8 project-based property that was developed with LIHTC. The renovation budget includes approximately $64,000 per unit in capital repairs, as well as addressing health and safety needs. The vote in mortgage committee was unanimous. We do have staff available, as well as welcome mortgage committee if they have any questions or comments as you consider this resolution.
Thank you, Masuda. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by Masuda?
So moved.
Thank you, Greg. Can I have a second?
I'll second Jerry Abrahams.
Thank you, Jerry. Questions or comments? Okay, Shelley?
Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts,
Yes.
Heidi DeWinger,
Aye.
Kylie Goslin, Tim Hodges,
Aye.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Selah Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
George Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugaldi,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you, Shelley. Motion carries. Masuda will present the following resolution on a refinance and transfer of a project to another organization. Masuda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next resolution before you is approval of the purchase and sale of several scattered site properties that is owned and operated by the Corporation for Independent Living, or known as CIL, totaling 21 units to the Eastern Connecticut Housing Opportunities, also known as ECHO, and restructuring the existing mortgages into one mortgage with amortizing and non-amortizing loans as outlined in your package. This proposed request will benefit the residents from much needed capital repairs and ongoing supportive services. And CIL entered into a supportive housing pilots initiative in 2007, and then later determined that this model is outside of their core mission. So they have been looking for an exit strategy to offload this portfolio. And so in conversation with CIL and others, we selected ECHO as a purchaser. And so the purpose of this request is to approve the purchase and sale, as well as restructuring of these existing mortgages. And with that said, we're available to answer any questions. The vote in mortgage committee was unanimous.
Thank you, Masuda. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion. This is Lisa. I'd also just like to flag that I think this is a particularly creative arrangement. It's leveraging the strengths of several really good nonprofits to preserve those units, including the services. And so just really wanted to give Masuda and her team the credit for arranging this deal to preserve both the affordability and that important supportive service that's part of the PSH model, working with these really good nonprofits in Eastern Connecticut, where there is less in the way of a landscape of those services and those nonprofits. So thank you, Masuda, for the good work on this, and I make the motion.
Thank you, Lisa. Can I have a second?
I'll second. It's Heidi.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Thank you. Shelley, please roll call.
Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts,
Aye.
Heidi DeWinger,
Aye.
Kylie Goslin,
Aye.
Tim Hodges,
Yes.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Selah Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
George Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Aye.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugaldi,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you, Shelley. Motion carries. Masuda, you have one more resolution to present, and this is a prepayment.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The board is being asked to approve the prepayment of an existing mortgage for approximately $714,000 as part of the sale for Highwood Gardens in Hamden. The current owner, Mr. Capone, has operated the property for 40 years and he's looking to retire. The proposed request falls outside of the prepayment policy as the last refinance occurred back in 2012. And this property will continue to remain as a Section 8 development. The existing affordability will be maintained for an additional 15 years. Chfa's contractor Spectrum will be providing compliance oversight during the compliance period. So the vote in Mortgage Committee was unanimous. We do have staff available, and I would also welcome Mortgage Committee to weigh in with any comments as you consider this resolution.
Muted. Thank you, Masuda. May I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by Masuda?
I'll make the motion, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Greg. Questions or comments? Shelley, could you please do the roll call?
Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts,
Aye.
Heidi DeWinger,
Aye.
Kylie Goslin, Tim Hodges,
Aye.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Sela Mascaro Bruno,
Yes.
George Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Aye.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. Motion carries. Next resolution is going to be presented by John, and this is a mortgage modification. So go ahead, John.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. We're requesting approval for a new loan modification for Science Park Development Corp., reducing the existing modifications monthly payments $11,775.75 to $4,114.45, commencing the earlier of April 1st or upon documentation of the modification. The current modification will expire on March 1 of this year. Interest will continue to accrue at 5%. After all cash, what's new in this modification is that all cash flow after operating expenses plus a 10% cushion and the monthly principal payments will be deposited into a reserve that will be held by CHFA. Those funds will be available to Science Park to be used for operating shortfalls and capital expenditures under the approval of CHFA and its co-lender, Connecticut Innovations. All principal and accrued interest will be due and payable on the earlier of a sale or refinancing or the maturity date, which is December 1, 2028. Unless the board would like more information on the history of this development, I'm going to keep my remarks brief, but I'm happy to go into any more detail if you have questions or desire more information. The recommended proposal is intended to provide Science Park with the time and opportunity to raise the capital required to address the environmental remediation and to entice new capital into the investment in the park. To the extent that any of those two things happen, both things happen, Science Park will become a more attractive location for people to live and work, which would enhance the building of our collateral, the value of our collateral by the virtue of its surroundings. The request was presented to the Mortgage Committee earlier this week and the vote was unanimous. Mortgage Committee is welcome to weigh in their comments as you consider the action request.
Thank you, John. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by John?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second, Heidi.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Hey, John.
Commissioner.
Jerry Abrahams.
Sorry, Jerry. Commissioner Perez.
I can wait.
And
Jerry.
then Jerry. Jerry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Madam Chair. John, just one question. I know we talked about this in Mortgage Committee, and I had the benefit of that. The loan mod is going to 2028. Did you consider, or have we considered a modification that wouldn't extend since we've essentially, this is in forbearance, just extending the forbearance for another year as opposed to modifying the loan to its maturity date?
We did. The Science Park appealed to us very strongly that our year-to-year modifications make it difficult for them for planning. They also complain about the annual legal expense that they incur on our annual modifications. I also think it is helpful to communicate to them that we're essentially giving you the runway you've asked for, you need to accomplish, you know, the couple of major phases that are coming up with the demolition of lot 7 and the development of lot 3. And I think it just gives them that the comfort they've got the time to do it. And that's why we're recommending to make the modification to the end of the term.
And so if the project is in fact successful, they do the rip down the buildings, the commercial real estate market improves, they get tenants, some of the other investments that go in that are contemplated in the new development team occur, then I guess the concept is, because of our surplus cash note, we'll be able to recoup some of the loss that we are incurring with this loan modification. That's the concept.
That's a great point. I mean, that was the trade-off, is that we will now have control over the expenditure of cash, at least the ability to weigh in on how that the cash flow is being employed or invested.
Thank you.
Are we still on?
I'm
I
muted.
think we're eagerly waiting your
I was
question.
muted.
Okay, I was eagerly
Yeah,
waiting for the
I'm
chair
done.
to recognize me. Yep. Because I don't
I
want
was
to be
trying
saying
like
the fuck
Commissioner
out of line.
Harris.
Look,
Go ahead.
I understand Science Park is very important to the city, so on and so on. And I know we're taking lemon, making lemonade. But my question is, they knew all along they had to do the remediation. And that's what I heard that was the main reason. I didn't hear that was an issue with commercial tenants. Do we know the main reason why they have not been able to comply with the original terms or the original commitments, especially around remediation, considering the climate and the amount of money the state has made available, not necessarily to Science Park, but in general for remediation? I was just curious to understand better why they have not been able to complete it by now.
Is your question, Commissioner, why, with regard to specifics of the building operations or with the development of the park itself?
Well, I guess it would be development of the park, but in particular remediation. What's been the holdup or the issue that they run into getting funding for that, considering that that's a priority for the federal government, state government, you know?
Yeah.
And consider they knew that from day one. I mean, it's not like this is a surprise.
Right. The development has gone on, the development has occurred through the park, but it's been much slower than they expected. I think the issue in the last few years, from my understanding, really has been the contamination of lots 4 and 7. And if you're probably familiar with that area, the building on lot 7 is a gigantic 6-story manufacturing building, and they underwent some very extensive testing of the building, and it took quite a long time, and they actually brought in consultants, I'm told, from all over the country to weigh in, but the conclusion was that the building was so contaminated, and specifically it was, as a manufacturing building, the concrete floors were so saturated with oil that there was no alternative other than to demolish it. And it seems, from my understanding, that a lot of the focus has been on resolving, particularly lot 7. It seems to be it's been the holdup. More recently, they were awarded, DCD actually gave them $200,000 a couple of years ago to do some of this environmental study. They were recently awarded a $2 million brownfield remediation grant by DECD, and they currently have a $14 million urban action grant application in. And if it's awarded, they have allocated $6 million of that $14 million would be for the demolition of the buildings of the Lot 7. The total demolition is $10 million. That would bring it up to $8 million. Their hope and expectation is the $2 remaining million would come from the Olin Corporation, who, as you probably know, had acquired Winchester Repeating Arms, and some portion coming from the investors.
Okay,
Thank you, John.
so maybe
Go
we feel
ahead.
comfortable that the investors are going to put more money into this?
They
Do they
have
have the
entered.
capacity to do that?
Yeah, they've entered into a pre-development agreement with a party of 3 different investors. The three parties are Twinning Properties, L&M Development, and Goldman Sachs, and it's the Urban Investment Division of Goldman Sachs. Those 3 parties currently own Winchester Works, which is adjacent to Lot 7 on the corner, and they recently presented, as part of the Urban Action Grant application, a $300 million plan to invest in Science Park and rebranding them in Science Park to Winchester Center. And it's an extensive master plan that involves the development of both Lot 7 once it's demolished, but also Lot 3, which is adjacent to Building 5, our building. And CHFA recently did receive a submission of an application for funds. The Lot 3, it's a mixed-use multifamily building. Upper floor is commercial on the main floor. And we did receive an application for funding a portion of that multifamily development. So we do have the sense that is real, but that's part of that master plan. So the expectation is that with those 2 things happening, that the partnership of those 3 entities would at that point be willing to or would want to desire to control the entire park, which was what they've talked about, acquiring both our building and Building 4, which is the mortgagee on that is Connecticut Innovations. Because that's actually our hope and expectation for an exit from this strategy would be that eventual sale of the buildings to the Twinning Properties, L&M Development, and Goldman Sachs.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All right, Shelley?
Gary Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts,
Yes.
Heidi DeWinger,
Aye.
Kylie Goslin,
Aye.
Tim Hodges,
Aye.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Sela Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
George Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugaldi,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you, Shelley. Motion carries. Next is the resolution to authorize public comment for the amendments for the single family program. Before Lisa presents the resolution, I do want to thank Cindy and the Realtors Association for meeting with us and making some of the recommendations that will be in this amendment, just to make sure that we're more competitive with the market and easier to use. So Cindy, I don't know if you want to say anything before we go into the resolution.
Yes, I believe anyone involved in real estate right now realizes the difficulty of any first-time home buyer from being able to access an available property right now. A lot of properties that come on the market, especially on the low end, can get 18 to 20 offers, and many cash buyers and investors are getting all of our most affordable properties. So we are incredibly appreciative of the commissioner and Anthony and others on staff for really identifying ways to make the program competitive and to make more first-time home buyers have an option to compete against all cash buyers for their first home. So thank you for any consideration to this motion.
Thank you, Cindy. Lisa, could you present the resolution, please?
Thank you, everyone. Nice to see everyone, Madam Chair, other members of the board. We are making these proposals to enhance some of the programs and make them more user-friendly. The first item that we would like to address is really an administrative item. The procedures currently require a multi-step approval process in order for us to adopt the sales price and household income limits applicable to issuers of qualified mortgage bonds. Since the limits are updated and published by the IRS annually, a modification to the procedures is recommended to remove this unnecessary administrative burden. The authority staff and bond counsel perform ongoing review and confirmation in order to ensure the compliance of the authority's programs with all applicable tax law. The second item is concerning condominium project eligibility. Currently, the procedures require that the condominiums meet FHA guidelines and FHA approved. However, we offer multiple other types of programs. We have conventional loans as well with different sets of guidelines. So we would like to propose that the condominium project eligibility is based on the actual loan program being requested instead of limited to just FHA. And in the terms and conditions, the procedures require that a home buyer obtaining the down payment assistance program second mortgage must maximize the loan to value allowed by the first mortgage guidelines. The single family department proposes that this requirement be removed so that home buyers may contribute their own savings or participate in other down payment assistance programs. Forcing home buyers to obtain the maximum loan amount on the first mortgage could have unintended consequences, such as preventing the borrower from taking advantage of other resources that can be used to reduce their payments to an affordable level, to include reducing mortgage insurance costs. This could result in the borrower's inability to purchase a home. The final part is based on closing costs. This section only allows the closing costs to be included as part of the down payment assistance loan in cases where the borrower does not possess sufficient funds to cover the closing costs. Under these conditions, the borrowers are required to utilize what may be all their available financial assets, thus leaving them without reserves to cover some of the other costs associated with purchasing a home, such as moving expenses, utility deposits, minor repairs, or purchase of other necessities not included in the purchase. Single family department recommends that this requirement be stricken so that home buyers are not obligated to spend their limited resources when they are otherwise qualified for the DAP loan. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Lisa. I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by Lisa.
I'll make the motion. Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Greg. Questions or comments? Okay, Shelley, please roll call.
Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Butts,
Aye.
Heidi DeWinger,
Aye.
Kylie Goslin, Tim Hodges,
Aye.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Stella Mascaro Bruno,
Yes.
George Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugalde,
Yes.
unanimous.
Motion carries. Thank you, Lisa. Wow, that's about all the business we had to do today. Consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move.
I'll move.
It's Tim.
Tim, thank you. Can I have a second?
I'll second. Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. Comments, questions? Shelley, could you do the roll call, please?
Carrie Abrahams,
Aye.
Cindy Betts,
Yes.
Heidi DeWinger,
Aye.
Kylie Goslin, Tim Hodges,
Aye.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Salem Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
George Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugaldi,
Aye.
unanimous.
Motion carries. Thank you, Shelley. Well, before we adjourn the meeting, anybody has any comments or anything they would like to share with us, the board or the staff?
Well, I would like to say that I am disturbed by the events in Europe and Russia going on today. And one of the concerns I have is potential cyber attacks. I'm just going to throw that out since we're in the banking industry here. Keep our eyes out for what might develop there.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah.
If I could, since banking was mentioned, I cannot guarantee you that they're not going to happen. In fact, I almost would guarantee you that they will happen. But I can assure you that for the last month and a half, working with the Homeland Security at the federal level and local level, there's been a lot of exercise, a lot of planning that when those attacks do happen, it should be minimal. If not, with God's help, we'll be able to stop them completely. But I cannot guarantee you that because the chain is only as strong as your weakest link. And there's always somebody who forgets to do a patch somewhere.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody else wants to share anything? Okay, I'll share that my grandmother is going to be 100 years old, April 15, and I'm planning to travel to Ecuador to celebrate with her.
Oh,
Wow.
Felicidades.
What was that, Commissioner?
I say, felicidades.
Oh, felicidades. Gracias. Gracias.
And for those
Okay.
who don't understand Spanish, I was simply saying congratulations.
And I said, thank you.
Yeah.
With that, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make
All
motion
those
to
in favor,
adjourn. This is George.
say aye.
Second.
Aye.
All right.
aye.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Have a great week, and we'll see you at the next meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.